Hey guys, this is one way to put a bass guitar through a guitar amp. It's not quite the same, but here's how you do it. So it's basically I'm using a guitar amp, and when I'm sending it out, this is a line amp, just going to my PA. Um, so you don't have to worry about this speaker's not being used. So it's a couple of things if you want to do this. You need to make sure that your amp has a speaker emulator, which this one does. If you've got the Vox Pathfinder, you've got it's all you don't have to worry about switching it on or anything. You just plug into your line amp, and it's if you go to the PA, it uses the amplifier emulation, the speaker emulation. Because if you don't have that, it'll sound quite nasty. The other thing to worry about is if it's a valve amp or not. Obviously, this is not a valve amp, so I've got no issues. But obviously, if you're sending out to a PA using a line out, so either it won't disconnect the speaker, so the sound will be still coming out of the speaker as well as going to the PA. In which case, you've got a problem because it'll be damaging your guitar amp. Or it could be. Some people think it does. Some people think it doesn't. Um, and the the other issue is if you disconnect the speaker, you probably know that if you disconnect the speaker when you're using a tube amp, you don't have a load, and then you really damaging your equipment there. But anyway, this is how it sounds. I'll just go a quick demo. So nothing coming out of the guitar amp; it's all coming through the PA. So you see, you get a different sound. The sound is less bass orientated, which I know it sounds a bit silly, but uh, I wanted a mid-rangey bass sound, something that's not focused so much on the sub bass. The '60s sound, we didn't have this really massive sub bass thing. It was still quite a middly sound. The bass, it's still like in the low mids in the '60s. They were basically just using guitar amps. There wasn't a massive difference, and I just think it sounds really nice. Obviously you've got the amp distortion that I'm using, so a little bit of drive. There is a kind of, you always get that line out. uh, I don't know how to describe it, but it's slightly unnatural, slightly digitized. But I think just to kind of bring the bass out a little bit, I think it does a good job to that. You could probably, if there was some way to maybe split it, so you're using going into a guitar amp and going into a bass amp, and then just blend the two, so you can just really bring up the higher end. If you want the bass to come through and a little bit be a little bit more present. Um, and obviously you've got options with your PA, or I was gonna experiment with putting some EQ on and just bring some more further mids There's no mid control on here. It's quite a middly amp, but I was just gonna manually boost the mids even more, control it with some EQ. You've got the option to do that as long as you've got good communication with your sound engineer at the venue if you're playing live and you want to try this. Obviously, the other good thing is you don't really need a really big amp, just crank the PA and yeah, you shouldn't have to worry about carting a really big amp. You can just use a little thing like this. I think that should probably be enough. And then the PA will boost it for you. I'm not 100% about that. I don't know how much power you could get out of it with a small amp like this, but I think you probably would be okay. Um, so yeah, that's some advantages there. But yeah, I'm interested to hear what it's like boosted with the mids. Either doing it with the PA, talking to the sound engineer and asking him to use a bit of parametric EQ if he's got that available and boosting the mids, or just doing it with a pedal manually. Either way, just kind of brings your bass a little bit more forward, And yeah, and if you do want to blend in a little bit at the low end, you could also just use a DI box, go into a DI box, and then coming out of the DI box into your guitar amp, and then going into the PA, and also just then the other one, just going with an XLR cable straight into the PA, and then you've got the opportunity there just to blend in the low end, low frequencies as much as you want, or as little as you want, if you want that 60s sound.